welcome to the Pickle Planet Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jenna Morton.
And I'm the other one, Tosh Taylor. Hello.
So we are really excited by this week's topic because it's something that we tend to talk about, I think, every so often anyway, Tosh, but it's on the top of everyone's mind right now, is summer staycations in New Brunswick.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Is so exciting because both you and I didn't grow up here, which I think gives us this really unique perspective and this really neat viewpoint when it comes to exploring, because for us it is an exploration. This isn't a place that we grew up with thinking, oh yeah, I can see that anytime.
That's true. And I think we both married guys from Riverview, and Jason, like the first couple of years, I was like, I want to go see this, I want to go see that. And I've seen all that, because he played baseball. So he would tour all around the province when he was a kid playing baseball in different places. And so he has seen all the things that I still want to see. And this year he was like, you know what? No, this will be a great year for going and checking out, not just like what's in Albert County, which is what I obviously am big on supporting, but things in the north of the province that we've all heard of and just never been.
Like covered bridges chips.
Yeah, exactly.
those are the places I've been.
The fry capital.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? I absolutely love the French Fry Museum. I love it. It is so fun.
Cool.
So we got to go last summer. So, we took a family trip to Quebec last year and made a point 2 years ago, we did the family trip to Ontario in the summer and made a point of stopping at the Covered Bridge Chips factory because my husband pretty much lives on storm chips.
True New Brunswicker.
Awesome. It's so fascinating though to actually walk through and see the plant and see how they make the potato chips and hear about the story there. But we didn't really make the time and didn't realize how close we were to going to the French Fry Museum and everything. And that had been on my list of things that I had wanted to do for a while. And, to make it up for the festival, which, we're not going to have all the same festivals and the same things this summer. But so the second summer we made the trip, we made sure to go into Florenceville, and it was amazing. I am constantly amazed at how innovative New Brunswickers have been over the last 200 years. And, I think one of those shining examples is what happened in the 50s and just creating basically an entire industry that is world leading in this tiny rural spot, just because someone went, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Exactly. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's check it out. And that, I think you and I both have like the undying need to constantly be learning. And so things like that are what kind of sucks me in, and especially like learning more about this province. It amazed me that nobody knows. Like, how are we such a forgotten province when the McFlurry came from here, man? Come on.
The list of things that have come out of New Brunswick is incredible. So I'm going to spill the beans now that I haven't publicly until now really let out. So what I've been doing with my time off, which is really my less time than usual to do work because the kids are home, I've been working on a trivia game about New Brunswick.
No, you haven't.
So
how cool.
So I can tell you that like the list of things that were invented in this province, it blows me away. And I really think that the onus is on all of us to know these things and to tell our kids these things and cultivate that pride of what New Brunswick has accomplished and what it is capable of doing. There's been that real like humble maritime, whatever you want to call it, vibe going on where people either, I don't know, didn't want to give away their trade secrets or they just didn't want to feel like they were bragging or whatever. But we need to do that. We don't need to be obnoxious bragging. We just need to be proud, and we need to know these things because there is so much that has come out of this tiny little spot in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's going to be a major part of this summer's tourism plan. And we'll be joined soon with Bruce Fitch. Now, he is the Minister of Tourism, Heritage and Culture here in the province. And they have kind of really some new stuff for this year. So we'll get to talk to Bruce about that, which is fantastic, and talk, I think more where we can go this summer and what we can do. And I mean, obviously that's all touch and go at the moment.
Yeah, that's going to be the tricky part, is that I think we really are going to have to constantly be watching where we are in terms of our phases and whatever. And so we know that, festivals and events aren't going to happen this summer for safety reasons. Some things may open, some things may not, but chances are, given the rates we're at now, we're going to have some freedom to move within the province. That's pretty much guaranteed. Things will have to get pretty bad again for us, I think, to lose that footing that we've gained. And so this really is that year where people can truly embrace and figure out, the natural beauty that's here. And people, I think, are really going to be looking for those smaller spots, because you're not going to be able to everyone go to the most popular things all the time, or there'll be too many people to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're still going to have to watch for that social distancing and that, the right number of people in a certain area. So it's going to be really interesting to see all the ways that New Brunswickers step up to encourage people to see different parts of this province. I've seen a couple things already. This morning I was on Twitter, which I have to say, I'd kind of given up on, and now I'm kind of back on the Twitter train. I'm loving it. That was really my introduction to New Brunswick, was through Twitter years ago. I think we've talked about that in the past.
Yeah.
But there's a couple people who have been, putting it out there, let's start some, really great, kids' passports around the province, or let's have, students posting their videos and talking about what they love about where they live. And I think it's going to be those little grassroots movements that are really, really going to be interesting this summer.
Exactly. Mr. Fitch, how are you?
Very good, Tosh. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
We can, yep.
Excellent.
Excellent. So Jenna and have you met Jenna before?
I don't believe so.
No, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Jenna.
Jenna and I were just talking about the new campaign that you guys have put together with the hashtag #NBAlways and hashtag Hope Restored. We're really excited about getting a chance to celebrate our province this summer.
Absolutely. And I'm excited about it too. And the feedback has been very, very positive. I am just hopeful, according to the video, again, that the restrictions can be lifted as we continue to get positive results about the cases of the coronavirus here in the province of New Brunswick, and that we can look forward to a summer tourism season here in the province of New Brunswick. So that video is getting people thinking about the pride and the that we have here in the province of New Brunswick, and that will lead to some of the ideas of, all right, where am I going to go this summer? What am I going to do? So it has had a really positive response, and the views on the social media has been good, and the area where it is on television for the ads, and all the other areas, social media, Twitter and Instagram, whatnot, has been good.
Perfect. I love seeing the good feedback. So with you being the Minister of Tourism, Heritage and Culture, you probably can't tell me where your favorite place to visit in the province is, can you? Can you pick
I don't
favorites?
see why I could.
Favorites?
Well, look, we're celebrating Albert County these days, and that's been my backyard for many, many years. I know we're celebrating the 175th, so I've been around, well, for quite a few of those years, more than you two probably put together. But I do like to go down to Fun Day. That is a real excellent destination, whether you're golfing or whether you're going on the trails or on the beach. And we've actually had a couple of stops along the way that we enjoy. Waterside Beach is one, and Cape and Rage is the other. But of course, there's so many destinations in between, even the golf course in Hillsborough, and some of the trails. We've got Dobson Trail here that goes all the way to Fun Day, and also the Mill Creek. But the Fun Day Parkway has become one of my favorite destinations. We enjoy camping, so whether we're camping in Funday or whether we're camping down in St. Martin's, we sort of had a little family reunion down there in the long weekend in September. And there's a big firework display, and the campgrounds that are right on the water have almost a little competition between who can have the biggest fireworks. So with the trail coming through to Funday, that's going to be a real asset for Albert County in the future. But if I had to have a choice, I would have to say going down to Funday is really one of the top of my list. How about you?
Can I jump in? Because I'm going to say one of my favorite things about New Brunswick, and I discovered it the first time I lived here many years ago. I went on a drive one day by myself, and I drove in that direction, and something somehow caught my eye, and I went down this little dirt road, and there was this massive ship, like a 3-masted schooner replica, just in the middle of nowhere that I had no idea I was going to come across. And it was built as a replica of one of the ships that was built in the area back in the 1700s. And it's just this absolutely amazing testament to history. And it was just so much surprise to discover it. Just like discovering my children.
Yeah. It's the parenting podcast. That's what happens.
That's fantastic. Another area, and Jenna's point about off the beaten path in the middle of nowhere, there are a number of those trails or pathways that people can find. And I know Memel Brook is another one where if you just turn off, if you know exactly where to go. And a number of the caves, the old gypsum caves, I know there's a risk involved in going to caving, but some of those backwards trails are really very cathartic as you walk down, and the wildlife and the birds, and it's just as beautiful as anything. And the rocks, I mean, Hopeful Cape rocks, that's a classic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a given. That was one of my first things that I explored when I moved here too. And I was just like, what is happening? So everybody that comes to visit, I'm like, we gotta go. This is, you must see this, because I grew up in Ontario and you don't see things like that, right? So I do wonder if you can tell us why the province felt that it was important to start this campaign this year.
Well, originally, we have a marketing campaign that goes to Quebec, Ontario, New England, and a bit into Nova Scotia PEI. And there's even an international component. So with the uncertainty of whether or not the borders are going to open up, we said, let's pivot and make sure that New Brunswickers start thinking about New Brunswick. Because if they aren't allowed to go into Nova Scotia or Quebec, then let's try and get them to spend their tourism dollars here in the province of New Brunswick. Because so many people have said, even, I don't want to tell stories out of school, but one of my colleagues said, I've never been to Hopewell Cape Rocks. And I know it's inappropriate to slap people. That was my original thought. So I made a commitment. I said, well, I'm going to make sure that you come to Hopewell Cape Rocks this summer to see it, because it is a real icon in the tourism list of things to do here in the province of New Brunswick.
Yeah, absolutely. I had done a podcast earlier this year with Paul Gaudette, and he is the head of the interpretation center there, and he takes everybody out on the tours, and he said, like, it's unbelievable. Like, in the morning I'll be talking with someone from China, and in the afternoon I'm talking with someone from California or whatever. There's so many people from everywhere that come, but not a lot of people from home, or the people from home don't take the tour because they think they already know everything about it. And it's not like there's no way you can know all the information about the rocks, because there's so much evolving information with it all the time too.
Well, the history, and I know Albert County Museum is available, and people, if it's not open now, hopefully it will be shortly, but there's a lot of history, especially in and around the Funday Park and the Salmon River, and the amount of logging that went on, and then the gypsum in Hillsborough, and that had the railway, the Salem-Hillsborough Railway was a real big industrial item down there. So the history is fantastic, and people need to explore it. But you're absolutely right. You'll be walking along at Hopewell Cape, and you'll meet someone from some country that you just didn't expect to be here in the province of Brunswick. So that's the risk this summer, is some of those tourists are not going to be here in the province, and that's why we need New Brunswickers to step up and really embrace their province and help some of the tourism operators out in visiting these sites.
I was commenting earlier before we started chatting with you that I think what's really going to be a silver lining in this, and what's going to be fantastic about having a summer that we're kind of forced to focus inward and learn the history and learn about all the incredible people and things that have happened in this province. It's really going to have this swell of pride that, you know, all of us can feel and build on, and that we can take this opportunity to really teach ourselves and our children and our friends and our neighbors just how incredible this province is and how humble it has been up until now, in my opinion.
It's you're absolutely right, Jenna. And I know some of PEI is sort of saying, hey, can we be your bubble province? And when you look at the net difference, there's more of a risk of people going from New Brunswick going to PEI as opposed to PEI coming to New Brunswick. So it's almost a two-edged sword, is that you want to be good neighbors, but you don't want to lose all your revenue or all your opportunity to explore New Brunswick. So that's why we put that ad out now. And anybody that's seen it has said it's really touched an emotional chord with them. And I even had some of my stoic colleagues say, gee, I really was inspired by that.
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that there is going to be that sense of inspiration for a lot of people that comes out of this, that we might not even know it until 10, 15 years down the road, even, how this particular moment in time and focusing on the province will help us.
I've got, Jenna, your son jumped in the view. I've got my New Brunswick mug here.
That's
how patriotic
perfect.
is that?
I know, I want one.
I was telling Tosh I was going to put on one of my New Brunswick t-shirts, and I was like, oh, you won't see it. So
perfect. Well, Bruce, I know you have a meeting that you need to get back to, so we appreciate you jumping out of that meeting and coming into ours, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to you again soon.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks
Bye.
so much.
All right, so I want to know, do you have any, do you guys have a bucket list going for the summer then? What do you think?
We haven't started one yet. I kind of started like a bucket list of like backyard things we might do, because I wasn't sure at that point how much we were going to be able to travel within the province. And I think there's still going to be some worries when it comes to that, right? There's whether we get to the point where enough things are open that you don't have to worry about, bathroom breaks and bringing your own food and, all that kind of stuff, because of course you want to support whatever is open, but do it safely. That being said, so last summer, that trip I was talking about, we went to Quebec. On the way to Quebec, we did covered bridge chips, we did the covered bridge, and we did French Fry Museum. And on the way back, we went up through like Dalhousie into Bathurst and that area. And it was the first time I'd ever been in that area. Oh my goodness. Beautiful beaches.
Really? I've never been either, so.
Oh yeah, that was, yeah, I would definitely plan a trip back there for sure.
Awesome.
This summer. And, personally, I've only been to St. Andrews once. We haven't done that part of the province very much either. It was already on my kind of mental to-do list to try to spend some more time in Fredericton. I'd really like a chance to, get to take the kids to Science East and places like that we haven't done. And I mean, this entire province, last year in Family First in the magazine, we did a nice a spread of different walking trails. I had a couple of people in different areas pick some of their favorite walking trails to go on with their families. So I'll be sure to reshare that, coming up soon. Now that things are, safe to go out and do that. And I know there's some really great lists of, like waterfalls and places like that I think, it's hard to make the list because you don't want to set an expectation that you might have to pull back on.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But, yeah, definitely some beach time up around Bathurst. That would be my hope, that we get to do that. Going out to Fort Beauséjour, we finally did that 2 summers ago now, maybe, I think it was. That was a lot of fun, and I would definitely go, and just there's
The history.
so many
Yeah.
beautiful places, and so many, yeah, I'll say historic places. Our kids haven't been to King's Landing, so
Either
that
way,
one's been
yeah.
that's been on my list for a while, that we just keep not getting to, because that's what we do, right? When we think that it's here and it's always going to be here,
Yes.
it's easy to put it off. And so I think having that fear of, some of these places might not open, some of them might not be able to reopen.
Mm-hmm.
It's really going to ignite people, so that we don't take this for granted anymore. I think there's a lot of things in life that people are going to hopefully not take for granted after this, but I definitely think that that's going to be one that sticks with me.
Yeah, most importantly is the support local as much as we possibly can. And I'm a big advocate for that. I mean, obviously I still buy stuff off of Amazon. Everybody does. Because, well, right now some things I can't get, like Sarah's birthday's at the end of the month. Ugh.
We're just holding off on the birthday plans for July, because
I know. Yeah, she's gonna have a different kind of birthday this year, and that's totally cool, and I'm fine with it, because it will mean less. And sometimes less is more. It'll be more meaningful. My list of things this year are, it's funny, I want to go to Fredericton too. I've never been to Fredericton. I've driven past
not
it.
at all?
Nope.
What? Nope. Oh, it's such a fun city.
I know, nothing.
I enjoy Fredericton.
Yeah, I've driven through it to drive home. I've driven through the entire province to drive to Ontario and back a couple of times. That's why I've seen the covered bridge. That's it. You know what I want to do, like right here at home? My friend Angela and I, we started hiking. We did the first 21 kilometers of the Dobson Trail last summer. So we went from Riverview to Smith Road. So this year we're going to start from Smith Road and go to Alma. So we still have like 37 kilometers to go, but I want to finish the trail. I want to say I've done the Dobson Trail. So, it doesn't matter if I've done it in one go or not. So that would be my list.
And yeah, that whole trail system is just amazing.
Oh, it's stunning. Even just sticking around in Riverview, it's just amazing what is right inside the town. It's unbelievable. Same with Mill Creek too. And I think if we only get to do outdoor things this year, we're going to be lucky, because New Brunswick has so much outdoor stuff to discover.
Yes, it does. And so much that is, accessible pretty much wherever you're at in the province. Mm-hmm. There's something that's not that far away from you. It's not like, you and I have both lived in Ontario. It's not like where you're like, oh, I need to drive an hour and a half just to get beyond the sprawl to get to the nature that's there, right?
And bumper to bumper traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is very accessible for most of the population here. We are so lucky. And yeah, I think there'll definitely be some more trails in our family's future. I think a lot of bike trails is what's being requested so far. Ooh. We just got some people grew, so some people got taller. They needed new bikes. Yeah, so we have a whole bunch of new bikes in the family. So now the requests are coming in. Yep. Where can we go with the bikes?
Cool.
So it'll start small, and then we'll see where we get with that, because we're still training wheels for some of us.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is the summer you'll get off the training wheels, Jenna.
I think by the end of the summer I might. It has been more than 20 years, I think, since I rode a bike.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And now that all the kids are on bikes, I no longer have I have to help someone.
Yeah. No more excuses for you.
No, but that's okay. I'm looking forward to it, but it will be a slow start. We are not professional bikers by any means.
Well, there is some good biking trails in Hillsborough. They've got a really cool set of trails in Hillsborough, and the name White something, it's escaping me at the moment, but you'll be able to find it pretty easily. I think that it's safe to wrap up the show here today by saying to keep watching your website for things that can be done in the province this year, and any updates of anything you can find through any online source. Really, we're here for you.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think that's, technology is going to play a big part in people's lives this summer, because they're going to have to keep on top of what the current situation is and where it's going to be safe to go. And yeah, definitely Pickle Planet is going to do what we can to make sure people know safe places to go and what to do. And just, it's going to be a different summer, but I think it is going to be a really special summer. And I think it's a summer that's going to end up having a lot of impact on this province in a very positive way, despite all of the hardships that we'll have as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can check us out online anytime. You can find a podcast on my website, thepodcasthub.ca, that is called Albert County Chats, and you can find out a lot of information about stuff that's going on down in Albert County as well, and a little bit of the history too. And we will see you guys again next week.
Yeah.
Yay!